All right, it's time for another fibble. This is the game that's just like Wordle, but on every row, one of the clues is a lie. They're starting us with lilac, or lilac, depending on how you want to pronounce it. I'm thinking L, and then do like an A or an I. My first thought is something like latch, but we can't do the C and the A. We could do lunch though with the C. That might be interesting. Okay, well, one of the two L's is a lie, clearly. So there's definitely no C. If we assume the L is still at the beginning, then we need to have an I or an A or a second L, and we need to have the N somewhere else. So we could do Layden. That would work. Okay, so interesting with the L's here. We've had all the versions. So either there is an L or there's not an L. Those can't both be true. One of them is a lie, so there's definitely no A. One of the two, these two L's is true, so there's definitely an N. Now, one of these could be true, so it could still be. And then, so this can't be true. Can it? Yeah, it can. It can. If this is true, these are both lies. That one's true, that's fine. You'd still have an L somewhere. If there's an L at the beginning, then the D, E, and N are all true. And we could do lined? No. No, because the N can't be third. Right, because the yellow L is a lie. Oh, that almost works. So if the L is at the beginning, then the E at the end has to be true, but the two yellow N's have to be true. So it would have to be LN. So that's not going to work. So this is a lie, and these two are true. Now, the yellow could still be true. It could be that there's no L or that there's an L somewhere else. If there's an L somewhere else, then that L is true, and there's the UN or H is a lie. But we could do NEL, for example, but we need to have a D. And I don't know how that's gonna work. What if we did LED? Then we'd need to have an N somewhere. And at this point, there's no A, there's no I. If there's not a U, then I don't know what we're doing. Okay, so I'm kind of thinking there's no L. That's what I'm thinking. Which then means the D, E, or N is a lie, but we could do EN and put the D somewhere else. Dozen. Ooh, dozen would work. It's not crazy. It's a little wild with the Z, but guessing unusual letters in fibble can sometimes be a good thing. Let's go with dozen. Okay, well, if it's the E or the N, then it's the lie twice. And if there's no D, then it's the lie twice, but what if we did like NED? What does that do for us? Then you'd have to have an L. Oh, that doesn't work. So the D or the N needs to be the lie, I think. Unless there's somehow an L, and I'm not seeing how. But if there's not an L, then there's no U, so there's probably an O, and if there's an O, then that means the N and the T would be true, so it would have to be DEN, something like that. Because if this is true, no, if there is an O, this is the lie, and that makes the N and the E true, and so it would have to be the D that was the lie in Layden. This D would be true, so it would have to be, I mean, ODEN or Or the O could be first, but old no, because then we can't have an L. Otherwise, if there's no N, then no, we know there's an N. If the N isn't at the end, then the D would. So the D can't be at the end. We know that much because we know there's an N. If the D is at the end, no, the N's wouldn't have to be lies. The E's could be lies, for example. Now that's interesting. What if we do something END and the E's are the lies? Now we're getting somewhere. Okay, let's do spend. I think that works. Okay, I think now we're getting there. Okay, so if it's not spend, if the S is the lie because it's not supposed to be in there, is there something else? Trend. There we go. All right. Well, I don't know. I was inclined to assume the green E's were true for some reason, even though, there wasn't a good reason to think that really. But all right, well, let me know the trend of your solve, and if you had to stop for lunch halfway through and smell the lilacs, I guess, or if it took you a dozen guesses. Hopefully not, because that's more than you get. But yeah, let me know how long you had to spend on it, and how long it took you to arrive at the trend of solving, I guess. And of course, be sure to subscribe for more.